Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, and today we are going to be looking at 5 disturbing cold cases that have still gone unsolved. This video will obviously include some pretty disturbing topics and subjects, so viewer discretion is advised. Alright, since that's out of the way, let's get into our first unsolved cold case. Have you seen this police sketch? Pretty unsettling and terrifying to say the least. But the face matches the horrifying things he has done. Known as Mr. Cruel for the terrible deeds he has done in the 80s and 90s in Melbourne, Australia. The police say he's very smart and plans things very carefully. He watches his targets closely, made sure to not leave any evidence behind, and hid his face to keep his identity a secret. He would break into people's homes, make them unable to move, and threaten them with a knife or a gun. He also did things to confuse the police and make it harder for them to figure out what he did. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, a figure emerged in the shadows, striking fear into the hearts of communities in Melbourne, Australia. This elusive malefactor became known as Mr. Cruel, a moniker bestowed upon him by the media. His dark legacy encompasses 3 confirmed attacks, but the ominous specter of his involvement in the abduction and tragic murder of a 4th victim, 13-year-old Chinese-Australian Carmaine Chan, looms large. The heart-wrenching narrative unfolds in 1991 when Chan was forcibly taken from her home in Templestowe at knife point, settling the stage for a nightmarish ordeal that culminated in the discovery of her lifeless body a year later in a landfill area in Thomastown, marked by the haunting evidence of the 3 bullet holes in the back of her skull. Mr. Cruel's modus operandi reveals a chilling pattern of calculated malevolence. His sinister mythology involves meticulous surveillance and observation of his prospective victims and their families preceding the actual attacks. Veiled behind a balaclava, he maintains a soft-spoken and unhurried demeanor, adding a layer of psychological torment to his reprehensible deeds. Upon infiltrating the sanctity of his victims' homes, he methodically binds and gags the parents and the siblings, demonstrating a cold and ruthless efficiency in executing his crimes. Beyond the realm of mere robbery, he demands include the extraction of money, a peculiar insistence of his victims brushing their teeth, and the utilization of a neck brace to immobilize them and tether them to a bed following each abduction. The harrowing timeline of Mr. Cruel's reign of terror traces back to 1987 when an 11-year-old girl fell victim to his malevolence. The brutality of the assault was heightened as her parents found themselves confined in a cupboard, unable to protect their child. In 1988, the malevolent perpetrator targeted 10-year-old Sharon Willis, subjecting her to abduction and releasing her 18 hours later at Bayswater High School. The horror continued to escalate in 1990 when 13-year-old Nicola Lyons became a victim, enduring SA for an excruciating 50 hours before her release near a power substation in Kew. The community's anguish was further compounded by the relentless efforts of the Victoria Police, who spared no resource in their pursuit of Mr. Cruel. A staggering 30,000 homes were searched, and interviews were conducted with 27,000 suspects, yet the perpetrator remained elusive. The police's brief that Mr. Cruel's victim count may extend to up to a dozen underscores the gravity of this situation and what happened, amplifying the urgency to bring this figure to justice. The financial toll of the investigation is evident in the estimated $4 million spent by the Victoria Police. In a bid to encourage public cooperation, a $1 million reward was offered in 2016 for information leading to Mr. Cruel's arrest and conviction, emphasizing the collective determination to apprehend this menace and ensure he faces the consequences for his reprehensible actions. The reward serves as a testament to the commitment of law enforcement and the community to unmask this shadowy figure and bring an end to the reign of terror that has cast a long and dark shadow over Melbourne. But, to this day, he is still not found. And actually, before we continue on to the next case, consider subscribing to the channel. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and it'd be awesome if you could help the channel reach that goal. So please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks. The Shark Arm Murders. In 1935, Bert Hobson, the owner of the Coogee Aquarium and swimming baths, found himself faced with the challenge of attracting visitors to his struggling business during the challenging times of the Great Depression. Inspiration struck when, during a fishing expedition, he captured a colossal 14-foot tiger shark. Seizing the opportunity, he added this awe-inspiring creature to his collection of aquatic wonders. However, the excitement took a dark turn when, a week later, the shark began convulsing and regurgitated a disturbing discovery: a human arm. Alarmed by the shocking find, Hobson promptly contacted the police. The recovered arm bore a tattoo depicting two boxers in combat, leading authorities to identify the victim as Jimmy Smith, a saloon keeper and former boxer known for having no known enemies. The investigation uncovered a tale of criminal collaboration involving Smith, Reginald Holmes, and Patrick Brady, entwined in a web of insurance scams, drug deals, and forgery. Smith's connection to Holmes, a seemingly legitimate boat builder with an illicit side, grew ominous. The partnership soared, possibly due to the disagreement over a forged check, culminating in Smith blackmailing Holmes. This motive provided a plausible backdrop for the murder. On April 7, 1935, 11 days before the shark incident, Smith and Brady were seen leaving a local hotel, later ending up at Brady's cottage for a night of drinking. A cab driver's account of transporting an anxious Brady to Holmes' house that night fueled suspicions of Smith's murder. Brady, later arrested for forgery, implicated Holmes in Smith's murder during a police interrogation. However, Holmes, in a bizarre turn of events, denied any knowledge of Brady. The plot thickened when Holmes, attempting to evade arrest, shot himself in the head while speeding away in his boat. Miraculously surviving, he was apprehended after a 4-hour boat chase. Holmes then spun a narrative claiming Brady was the mastermind behind the extortion, murder, and subsequent attempt to blackmail Holmes. He asserted that Brady dismembered Smith's body, stashing the pieces in a trunk tossed into the bay, a method of disposal common at the time. Holmes allegedly paid Brady off and disposed of the arm, which, according to him, ended up being consumed by the infamous shark. In a peculiar turn of events, Holmes agreed to testify in court but was found dead on the trial day, having suffered 3 gunshot wounds to the chest. Brady's trial proceeded without Holmes, and lacking crucial testimony, it quickly unraveled. Consequently, Brady walked away a free man, leaving behind a tale of mystery, crime, and a deadly encounter with a notorious shark that became a chilling chapter in Australian criminal history. The Jameson Family disappearance. On October 8, 2009, the Jameson family, Bobby Dale Jameson, aged 44, Cheryl Jameson, aged 40, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madison Stormy Star Jameson, vanished without a trace. Living in Oklahoma at the time, the family was last seen by a mountain resident in southeastern Oklahoma. Strangely, the family, while in the area to check out a 40-acre plot for purchase, had unusual plans to live on the land in a storage container they already owned from their Eufaula property. 8 days later, after their sighting, hunters discovered the Jamesons' locked and abandoned truck about a quarter-mile from their last known location. The truck held Bobby's wallet, Charlene's purse, jackets, and GPS. Bobby's cell phone, a significant sum of $32,000 in cash, in a bank bag hidden beneath the driver's seat, and their malnourished but alive pet dog, Maisie. Notably, there were no signs of a struggle in the truck. The GPS showed the family had been on the nearby trail and hill behind the truck's location, leading investigators to footprints. Despite a large-scale air and ground search involving over 300 people, the leads all grew cold, and their search was called off. The mystery deepened, although, on November 16, 2013, when hunters found partial skeletal remains less than 3 miles from the disappearance site. The remains belonged to 2 adults and 1 child, confirmed as the Jameson family. The cause and the manner of the death remained unknown, with the medical examiner citing incomplete remains, no trauma evidence, but suspicious circumstances. During the investigation, a missing briefcase and a .22 caliber handgun registered to Charlene were never found. The family, both on disability due to Bobby's car accident, received disability checks. The discovery of $32,000 in cash puzzled authorities, as there were no known settlement from the accident to explain the sum. Former Sheriff Israel Beauchamp stated that there were no signs that Jamesons were in trouble or seeking a new life. Although something that added an eerie dimension to the case was security footage from the Jameson home on the day they left. The footage showed the family making silent and methodical trips between their car and their home, packing in a trance-like manner. Beauchamp emphasized the mysterious nature of the case, stating that everything seemed possible with the Jameson family, making it a perplexing and unresolved mystery. There are several theories surrounding the mysterious disappearance and tragic fate of the Jameson family. Let's explore these theories. Number 1. Accidental death due to exposure. Some believe that the Jameson family may have simply gotten lost in the woods and succumbed to hypothermia and exposure. However, the weather conditions at this time were not extreme enough to cause any sort of death, with temperatures recorded at 40 degrees. The bodies were found only 2.7 miles from their truck, raising questions about how they could have perished under these somewhat nice circumstances. Number 2. Murder S-word scenario. An 11-page hate letter from Cheryl to Bobby found in their abandoned truck raised suspicions of a murder S-word scenario. Another letter at their home mentioned death, and former Sheriff Beauchamp noted that the family seemed, quote, obsessed with death. However, Charlene's mother vehemently denies this theory at all, asserting that the couple were good parents and suggesting foul play was unnecessary. Number 3. Involvement of Bobby's father, Bob Dean Jameson. Bobby had filed a protective order against his father, Bob Dean Jameson, approximately 6 months before the family disappeared. Allegations of threats and violence were made in this petition, and Bobby was in the process of suing his father for unpaid wages. Some speculate that Bob Dean Jameson may have been involved in the family's disappearance, but his brother Jack Jameson claims he was not capable of such actions. Number 4. Involvement of a cult. Charlene's mother believes that the Jamesons were targeted by a religious cult in southeastern Oklahoma. An anonymous caller mentioned a white supremacy group with a, quote, hit list in the family's association with witchcraft, evidenced by a witch Bible found in their home, adds mysterious dimension. The pastor and mysterious graffiti on the property also hint at possible connections to the occult. Number 5. Involvement with drugs. Rumors suggest that Jamesons may have been involved with drugs, and financial difficulties were reported. Some speculate that a drug deal gone wrong could have explained their strange behavior in the $32,000 in cash found in their truck. However, there is no concrete evidence supporting drug involvement. While each theory presents its own set of peculiarities, the case of the Jameson family remains unsolved, leaving investigators and the public with numerous questions and few answers. The mysterious circumstances, odd behavior, and the lack of conclusive evidence continue to make this perplexing and intriguing mystery still prevalent to this day. Paula Jean Welden. Paula Jean Welden's disappearance on December 1st, 1946 is a puzzling and enduring mystery. At the time, Paula was just 18 years old, a sophomore at Bennington College. She told her roommate she was going for a long walk, a common activity for her, but this time she did not return, setting off a search that would reveal strange details. As investigators looked into Paula's disappearance, some peculiar leads emerged, making the case even more complicated. A waitress in Massachusetts claimed she served a girl who seemed upset and matched Paula's description. This odd lead took a bizarre turn when Paula's father vanished for 36 hours, raising suspicions and making him a suspect in the eyes of many. Rumors spread that Paula's family life wasn't as perfect as initially portrayed. She hadn't gone home for Thanksgiving, and there might have been a disagreement with her father. Adding to the mystery, Paula's father proposed a theory that she might have been upset about a boy at school, suggesting the boy as a potential subject. This alternative angle further complicated the investigation, leaving authorities with more questions than answers. Over the following decade, a local man claimed twice to friends that he knew where Paula's body was buried. Quite a weird thing to joke about, if you ask me. However, both times, he failed to provide any proof or lead the police to her. This added to another layer of uncertainty to the already complex case. With no concrete clues, no body, and no evidence of time, the investigation gradually grew cold, leaving Paula Jean Welden's disappearance unsolved. Decades later, the mystery continues to captivate, reminding us of the challenges in solving cases where the pieces of the puzzle seem to be mystery. Even though this case may seem minor, I think it did a good job at showing how quickly someone can just disappear and have no way of finding you, and how scary it is that people can just disappear in the blink of an eye after just wanting to go out for a walk, and these kidnappings can happen within minutes. The Severed Feet Mystery. In the Pacific Northwest, a strange and eerie event has been unfolding since 2007. Human feet, wearing running shoes or hiking boots, keep showing up on the shores of British Columbia, Canada. It's a mystery that has puzzled both locals and experts alike. Imagine finding a foot, all by itself, washed ashore. Pretty creepy. It all began when a young girl on a family sailing trip stumbled upon the first foot in August 2007. Just 6 days later, another one appeared, 30 miles away. Over the following year, 5 more feet were found on different islands in the Salish Sea, and they all had one thing in common. They were inside running shoes. By 2009, the world was captivated by the story, but authorities kept saying no crimes were happening. Still, the strange discoveries continued, and as of 2019, the last article had found up to 2019, 20 feet have been discovered. The Pacific Northwest already had a dark reputation with more serial killers per person than any other region in the United States. The area was home to infamous figures like the Want Ad Killer, the Boxcar Killer, the Green River Killer, and the notorious Ted Bundy. Some people started wondering if the region was cursed by some dark force. The official explanation for these strange feet is a bit weird too. It's said that the waters around the region are filled with bodies from various incidents, like accidents or S-words. Running shoes act like makeshift life jackets, making the feet disconnect from the bodies over time, eventually floating to the surface. But here's the thing, if that's true, why weren't feet found before 2007? And why aren't we seeing the same thing in other places where accidents or S-words happen? This mystery has become a part of the region's dark history. Instead of just passing by a disregarded shoe on the beach, residents now stop and check, haunted by the thought that it might be one of their neighbors. It's like a real-life spooky story that keeps everyone on edge. Imagine walking along the coastline, and suddenly, there's a foot, just a foot, washed ashore. People couldn't believe it at first. Some even thought it might be a serial killer leaving a strange mark along the coastlines. Others wondered if aliens were involved. The news reports on these severed feet have left everyone scratching their heads. The first people who settled in the Pacific Northwest believed in dark forces living in the mountains, evil spirits ready to harm those who came too close. Now, with the mystery of the severed feet, some wonder if those ancient beliefs had some truth to them. Even though experts say it's just a natural process of bodies decomposing in the water, it's hard to not be spooked. The region's dark past and the unexplained feet washing up add a layer of mystery to this already eerie tale. But what do you think? Is it some serial killer out there in the Pacific Northwest killing people, and this is their weird way of marking it? Or is it really just people and accidents and it washes up to shore naturally? I really am torn between this, so I'd like to hear what you think. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video, and that final case wraps it up. I enjoyed making this. It was a nice break from the icebergs. Please let me know what you think of this and think of this whole video in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching. Like I said, we're very close to that 100K mark, and it'd be just a dream come true if that happened. And yeah, like, and comment for the algorithm gods. Thanks. Alright, anyways, see you guys.